Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the videos of the paid requests. This time for Ash. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send them. PayPal is usually the best bet. Or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the film The Watcher that came out around 2000. Now, the backstory of this, to me, is more interesting than the movie. Because, from what I understand, the director of this film didn't really do a whole lot. But he had directed part of the tour of Dodge Star, the band Keanu Reeves was in. And was friendly with Keanu. I guess maybe the guy said he wants to be a director, and if I ever make it, would he ever like to be in one of my movies? And Keanu's like, sure. Like a verbal agreement, like a cameo. Sure, I'd do a cameo in one of your movies. Sure. So that verbal agreement then turned into some scripts were done. Keanu wasn't really big on the script. Also, the part was supposed to be like a cameo, but this was a very significant part because he's playing like the main killer. But he had to do it because his assistant forged his name. Now, that's a story I would love to hear about the assistant. Why did the assistant forge Keanu Reeves' name? Was it he would only get a piece of the money, piece of the... Because Keanu Reeves would find out and get the guy fired. So did the guy really expect that Keanu would never know? Because, well, I didn't sign this. The only person who could have is you. The guy, he did find out, so either the guy admitted it or Keanu... So, again, I don't know what the assistant's end goal was. But I hope it was worth it. So Keanu had to do the film. He was thinking of going to a legal battle, but was it like some other actress had gone to a legal battle and stuff, and it didn't really work out for them, or it cost a lot of money. So like, fine, I'll do the film. Just I'm not gonna promote it when it comes out. It's like, fine, just don't talk bad about the film for like a year or so, and just go along with it. So he did. So you have Keanu Reeves doing a film that he didn't want to do. Because you also got to think, this is one of the films he did after The Matrix. So Keanu's going up the ranks of, Bill and Ted had success. Speed had even more success. He did a couple films that didn't do the best, Giant Mnemonic, Chain Reaction. But then you have, Devil's Advocate did fine. Now The Matrix is this huge hit. And now you have to be careful what you choose, because if you choose something that's bad or is a flop, you're not going to get that many more opportunities to star in a film and get more control. Because when you have a hit, you have a little bit more control of what you can do, what you should do, what you're able to do, what movie you're able to make. And then that could be a short lifespan. If your film, if your next... You're only as good as your last film being a hit or bombing. And you're only as powerful as whether your last film was a hit or a bomb. And so now you have carte blanche as to how big The Matrix is, and then now he's forced to do a film he didn't want to do because he got tricked into it because someone forged his name. And then... So I can't really go into why would Keanu do this? He didn't want to do it. So I feel bad for him in this. Plus, he got paid scale. So, like, James Spader made more money than him. I think Marisa Tomei made more money than him. I think later on, the studio, which I'm kind of surprised they would do this, because you would think, they don't want to spend any money. I think it was Universal who released this. I think later on finally did pay him a bit more money. I guess because, hey, you got screwed over, you did what you were supposed to do. Granted, I mean, studios renege on deals all the time, so I'm surprised they followed through on this, but maybe someone up there liked Keanu Reeves or said, you know what, just in case, let's keep him happy. So they gave him a little bit more change, a little bit more money, a little bit more bucks afterwards. So, but the film itself, this director sucks. He tries to be flashy. There's a no kidding, the guy didn't do much of anything afterward. And it bugs the hell out of me that this film got a theatrical release, but not ICU with Sylvester Stallone, which was also Universal. Now, they gave it to someone else, but again, how can you tell me that this film was worth going to theaters, but ICU, aka Detox, was not? Because that film has some issues, but that's a way better film than this. But I guess, hey, Stallone's going down in popularity. Keanu Reeves with The Matrix is rising up, so even though this is a hiccup, we hope with Keanu Reeves in it, it's going to sell. Stallone, his films have been doing well. They didn't. This probably isn't going to do well either. There's no hope for it. Dump it on direct-to-video. Hey, it's Keanu Reeves. The Matrix was a hit, so I just answered my own question. I answered my own question, but again, it's like quality-wise, I think that film was way better than this, but this gets the theatrical. Again, because Keanu Reeves is in it. Who sadly is one of the worst parts in it because he is so miscast in this. Because listen, I like Keanu Reeves. But Keanu can only do certain movies and certain roles. There are times he pushes himself, and I like it. Street Teens being one of them. I love the film Speed. I like Street Teens. I love Constantine. I like the Matrix trilogy. I like the John Wick trilogy. To me, they're only trilogies. The fourth films of those do not exist, in my opinion. But what he tries to do, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, or he tries to do this movie, he's a bit out of his wheelhouse. He's trying to play a killer, but he's not intimidating. He's not creepy. You buy him being charming to get ladies' attention, which is part of the killer's gimmick. But when he tries to be, the very first scene of the movie is him dancing to Rob Zombie's Dracula, and he's like doing ballet moves like this. So he's doing this, but then, down in the ditches, I burn through the witches, Dracula. And then he's like doing these moves like he's Bruce Lee, Kung Fu. And then they use this slow-mo, but it's not even the good John Woo slow-mo. It's that stuttering slow-mo. Like that slow-mo that you don't realize you want slow-mo until afterwards. Because you have to make the camera do a certain thing to get the proper slow-mo. But if after the fact, oh, can you slow it? But it just comes off as like stuttering. And this director did not know what the hell he was doing. Maybe he should stick to doing tours of Dog Star, or do commercials of dog food, or clean up dog shit, or whatever the hell else. Because directing movies is not your forte, pal. I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry, I'm being honest. So he listens to Dracula, dancing, ballet, whatever, a bad slow-mo, doing wannabe kung fu arms. And he kills women. He strangles women. Meanwhile, you have James Spader. Who is the MVP of this movie? James Spader is the only one I give much of a crap about. And it's one of those things that, of course, message right when I'm doing this. The reason I like James Spader, he plays a cop who was in LA. He has moved to Chicago because he feels guilty about some of the stuff that's happened. His loved one has died. He wasn't able to save her. He wasn't able to save these other women. He's tired of this stuff, so he quits the force. He's not a cop anymore. He goes to Chicago. He's seeing a therapist played by Marisa Tomei, who won an Oscar for My Cousin Vinny. He would go on to be Aunt May and the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. And like James Spader plays burnt out very well. He has the right cadence. He has the right mood in his performance of being tired, a bit broken down. He's given some of the better lines where she goes, "You blame yourself?" And he's like, "Oh no, I blame the asshole who did it. No, I blame the asshole who did those killings." He's got guilt. I feel sympathy for him. And I think James Spader is a hell of an actor. I do. He's a hell of an actor that he deserves some better movies. I mean, I like Jack's Back. I don't mind Stargate, but I think that could have been a better movie. Supernova, he's good in it, but he deserved a way. It's like consistent. Like I don't mind Stargate, but I think that could have been a better movie. But I liked it. Supernova and this movie are bad movies that James Spader is good in, and he deserved better movies around him. That's what makes me feel bad. Because it's like this is some of his more mainstream stuff, and he gets these either these crappy scripts, or in this case, a dumb director doesn't know what he's doing. And then you have a movie that is a thriller, but it's not that thrilling. Can't really call a horror film. There's just nothing horrific about it. It feels like it kind of turned on his wheels, and James Spader doesn't do a whole lot of detective work. Keanu Reeves, he's not intimidating or creepy. His character is trying to be like the Joker, where as if James Spader's Batman and we gotta keep us together. But just like Keanu Reeves wants to bane him. Does Keanu want to bane James Spader? Like, does the Joker want to bane Batman? But no, it's more this cat mouse and I need you, you need me, and you need to thank me for this. You need, kind of like what again Joker does with Batman, but only that was done with better writing compared to this. So James Spader gets a picture in the mail about a woman that has been kidnapped. He goes immediately to the cops. He just calls from the killer about, well, and Keanu Reeves, this shows that his acting isn't, either his acting wasn't the greatest, which it wasn't, or he just didn't care about this movie, which he didn't. I was in LA and the guy that took over you wasn't so good. So decided to move here to Chicago. It's cold here. Can't believe you moved here. It's cold here. I'm like, dude, you're not Willem Dafoe. You're not Brad Dourif. I'm just thinking of like people who played killers. You're not Eric Roberts. You're not Michael Rooker. You're not any of those guys, man. Like Keanu Reeves, I can't buy in this type of trying to be creepy, intimidating villain. I just don't buy it. So they have some verbal back and forth on the phone. He's like, I'm going to send you a picture. You have 1 day to find this girl. He gets the picture, goes to the cops. Ernie Hudson is in the film. Granted, again, he's not given much to do. He says a couple lines here and there, but he's really given not much to do. He doesn't really get to be a big part of the case. He has a couple scenes talking with James Spader. They try to find the girl, and a lot of it's kind of, we don't know what's going on. Okay, we tell the press. Has anyone seen this person? Has anyone seen this person? They look at this picture. Is that something? Is that something? Then, of course, they notice something. They get there too late. They try to chase down this car. They don't make it. Girl's dead. Then they're looking for the second girl. Another chasing. This time, instead of him chasing the car on foot, he gets another car. Bat killer gets away. And then somehow, I'm trying to remember how this worked out. Some other cop cars are following him. He gets to a gas station. I guess he hit a couple stuff, and then he lights something, and it all blows up. And I'm like, you know what? This ain't The Hitcher. I'll say that. Although it's better than the remake of The Hitcher. I'll give you that. Pretty much anything's better than the remake of The Hitcher. But, see, Rutger Hauer, that type of villain, against James Spader. I mean, if you had someone like Rutger Hauer versus James Spader, or like James Woods, or like something like that, man. Some that caliber like then Keanu was in over his head, and I think that's why he didn't want to do this either. Again, I keep thinking he did not want to do this film, and he was forced into doing it. So it's hard for me to rag on the guy when maybe he himself knew he wasn't right for this part. I think Keanu knew he wasn't right for this part. That's one reason he didn't want to do this, but then he was forced to do it because the assistant tricked him, forged his name, and then it'd be this big legal battle and cost all this money. And it's like, well, I gotta do it. But I think this was over his pay grade. He just wasn't capable of doing it. Yeah, more of that stuttering slow mo, and like Marisa Tomei doesn't have much to do. Pretty much a couple therapy sessions where she says typical therapy stuff. Like I said, Ernie Hudson has a couple scenes. There's not much violence or gore, really none. It's not much of a body count. There's no big shootouts. There's no fights. Like I said, there's not much of any thrills in it. They look for one girl, she's dead. They look for the second girl, she's dead. James Spader, spoilers. James Spader's depressed. They find him passed out in his apartment. Ernie Hudson them get him to a hospital. Keanu Reeves pretty much says, meet me here at the graveyard where James Spader's previous loved one resides now. Keanu has, I did find it funny that he had like a 6-pack of beer or a 12-pack of beer they gave to him. I'll show you Marisa Tomei. And James Spader's like, I'll give you my gun. Which seems like a bad decision because the guy could take it and poop, shoot you. I'm assuming James Spader knows the profile of this guy so much that he knows he wants to have this game, so he's not going to shoot me. And that's why he gives up the gun. I'm assuming that's the case. But again, you never give up your gun to a killer because you just be like, oh, thanks. Pop, pop, pop. But. And then they get to where Marisa Tomei's tied up. There's gasoline everywhere. Keanu pretty much beats up James Spader a bit, says you should say thank you, is ready to strangle Marisa Tomei. James Spader says thank you. Oh, what do you say? I said thank you. Stabs Keanu in the neck. I forget how the fire got started, but a fire gets started. James Spader gets the girl, they jump out. Then Keanu's on fire, jumps out of the fire. You have really bad CG fire explosion, really bad. Then James Spader in the water sees, like, the one bit of gore is that Keanu's face, like, it's a dummy, and it's very burnt up, mangled. And you hear a line from James Spader narrating saying, you just hope they fuck up and be there when they do. Talking about how to catch one of these killers or stop one of them. One thing I want to mention is you looked at the music track. Like I was looking up, I don't know, just out of curiosity, the music in the film. When you look at the titles of the musical tracks, it's hilarious. It's like the guy, he was goofing too. This is some of the music tracks. They're called Keanu Vision, Disco This Way, with a D. Disco This Way. Not disco, disco. Disco This Way. Panty Raid. Which is funny, I don't remember any panty raids in this. This wasn't Animal House or Revenge of the Nerds. Turtle Love, spelled L-U-V. I don't remember what that was about. Hot Tomato. Tomei, like Marisa Tomei. It's spelled her name with a toe. So, Hot Tomato, Hot Tomato. It's like the most ridiculous musical track names I've heard in the longest time. It's as if the composer said, those don't care about this film. I wonder if people don't care. I'm just going to put the most ridiculous... Like Keanu Vision. Like, not even this character, Watcher Vision, is like Keanu Vision. I'm like, Hot Tomato? I'm going to put the actor's... I'm not going to put the character's name. I'm going to put the actor's or actress's name. Surprise, one called The Spader Files. Or... See you later, Spader. That should have been one of the titles. See you later, Spader. So the composer, I don't think took this seriously either. But it just comes out as very generic, very bland, a lack of thrills, a lack of action. Keanu Reeves is very miscast. I think he knew that, but he was forced to do it. James Spader is trying, and I think he's selling his character fairly well. But you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Like, you have a turd, you just shine it, but it's still going to be smelling bad. Like, James Spader can't win in this movie. Like, he's trying, but it's like the chains on him, he's going up, and he's trying, and he can't, he's being pulled back by 30 people, and he can't do it. It's impossible. He can't do it. And just like Ernie Hudson is wasted, Marisa Tomei is wasted. There's no visceral kills or the the direction. It tries to be flashy in the wrong way and then stuttering slow mo. It just bad CG fire explosion. It's just not a good movie. James Spader is good in the movie, but it's not a good movie. Especially when we compare to like Seven, Resurrection with Christopher Lambert. Again, ICU, underrated. Even films like The Bone Collector, Kiss the Girls, or Morgan Freeman. Alone Came a Spider with Morgan Freeman. I think all those are better than this movie. So, but it's still better than the Hitcher remake. So yeah, this film just wasn't for me. And it didn't do well, so I wasn't the only one. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.